Hi guys, welcome back to our brand new season of Through the Speakers. We've been gone for a minute because we've moved offices, but we are back. I'm joined again by my original co-host Phil Beale and our new guest today, Kiera Marsland. Hi guys.
What's up, people?
How are we?
So what have you been up to, Kiera?
That sounds like a loaded question. I'm just working on my music, getting my singles ready for release.
Fair enough.
Yeah, gigging a little bit.
What was the last gig you did?
Actually, don't know.
Yes, you do.
What was it?
What, were you really drunk at the time?
Potentially. Oh, was it the Prague gig?
It's the Prague gig.
Was it?
Yeah, that was the last gig you did.
I love how you know more than I do.
Arts Bar?
That was after.
Was it?
Oh yeah, Art Bar, yeah.
Arts Bar, that was the...
Oh no, wait, I'm lying. It wasn't. It was the refreshment.
Oh
yeah.
I was extremely drunk that night. That's why I can't remember it.
Well, so now we've got to the
Now we've
bottom
got
of
to,
it.
yeah.
How did that go?
Yeah, it was really good.
Where was it at? Was it the shipping forecast or where?
Yes, it was Shipping Forecast Basement.
Right,
Refreshment
okay.
34.
Cool.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds yeah. Dead prepared, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what's coming up?
So next time I'll be playing, I'm supporting the Glass Skies on their tour.
Awesome.
Opening night in Manchester.
In Manchester,
14th
yeah.
of September. Get your tickets if you haven't already.
Absolutely.
Where can you get the tickets?
Probably
Skiddle.
Skiddle if
Yeah.
yeah.
Or go to my Instagram, there's a link in the bio.
Oh. What's
Plug.
your Instagram?
Cheeky plug.
What's your Instagram?
Kiera Marsland.
So you're looking forward to it? Have you played in Manchester before? Like, have you played outside of Liverpool?
I've played Manchester before. I haven't played the venue. Like this venue with 33 Oldham Street. That's a new one for me.
Cool.
But it looks cool. I've had a little gander. Looks like a cool venue.
Awesome. So how's the writing going?
Good. Yeah. I'm really in the flow of things, to be honest. Like the things that I've been recording are from like years ago. I've got a massive backlog.
Yeah.
But I'm still always got something new.
Never throw anything away though.
No, absolutely not.
So how many you got in the can now?
Officially 3.
And what are they called?
So we've got Annie, 710 and Infiel.
Infiel.
Which is a Spanish word that means unfaithful.
Would that be a collab by any chance?
It would indeed, Phil, yeah.
I think I may have heard that.
Yeah, oh really?
I may well have done.
Yeah.
I think I might have played drums on that.
Yeah, me and Mr. Brian Hobbs. I wrote it, but it's like a very it's like call and response kind of thing, and I was like...
Is that your first one of those?
Collaborative.
Call and response.
Oh yeah, no, that's something new for me.
Did that just come out of nowhere, or do you think I'm going to sit down and write a call and response song now?
I wrote it with somebody else.
Did you?
So when I wrote it, it was just like a natural back and forth.
Fabulous,
between us.
How did it feel when it came out like that?
Yeah, it was really cool, and like listening to it back, because obviously like I recorded the demo on my own, so it's really weird listening to it back and not hearing my voice on something that I've created. That's a really weird but cool thing.
Bit of a shocker.
Yeah.
What about the blend between the two of you?
I love it personally. I love Brian's voice anyway. I've got a massive respect for him as an artist. I think he's super talented.
Undoubtedly, I totally agree.
But his voice is just one of my favourites.
Was it different within the recording aspect of that as well? Like, because obviously usually you're doing most things on your own. You've only really got maybe one or two other people adding to your song. So was it different with someone else being in the vocal booth?
It was a little bit, because obviously I have to teach him my song, which was a really weird thing, but like absolute professional. Like he got it like that, like straight away. Like it took us less than 10 minutes and he was there, and he knew what he was doing. And I was like, you haven't got to do exactly what I say. Like I trust you, your talent.
But when I was working on the drums, when I was like trying to find what was going where, and like where the actual things were, the vocal ability of the two of you, and it just blends so well together.
Thank you.
It does.
Well, I'm not quoting anybody particularly here. I've got a droop going on. I'm not quoting anybody in particular here, but I've heard people saying that it's the best thing that they've heard come out of the label to date. But it hasn't come out yet, to be fair. But that's the sort of...
That sounds like a lot of pressure.
That's the sort of accolade that I'm hearing round for.
Yeah, we got a chair spin out of Roy when we'd finished it. Roy was that happy with it.
That says a lot.
We got a chair spin, so...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. So at what stage are you with Infiel now? Is it finished and ready, or still going through mixing and stuff?
So the only thing that needs to be done now is lead guitar, and then it'll be ready to go for me.
Fantastic. So who's the lead guitarist on all these tracks then?
Oh God,
Kiera, who might this be? Does he need a shout out?
my father. It would be.
This is awesome.
It is. It's really cool.
He's a hell of a good guitarist, though.
He is. Don't tell him I said that. Not like it's being recorded.
No, we won't tell him that. No.
But
we'll bleep that bit out.
He's yeah. It's weird because we're so similar. Obviously, because he's my dad. Like it's just like one of that. Like we just trust him.
Yeah.
Does it add that sort of I don't know, more sentimental to the song because you're working with your dad as well, though? Is that a thing?
Absolutely, especially like when I get I get Roy to send me all the songs that we do, like when I leave, when they're finished, and like I go home and I play them like to my sister and my mum and things like that, and my mum's like and I'm like, but then my dad's like, that when's that coming out, so I can tell people that's me. when is it coming out? And I'm like,
would your dad not be on the stage with you?
No, he said he'll only get on the stage if I end up at Glastonbury.
Well, I've got to be. I feel the same way, having contributed a little bit along the way. I feel the same way. I reckon it's going big,
I hope so.
I'm sure. I reckon Radio 6.
Yeah.
I do. Genuinely.
Sounds good to me.
So let's move on to another song because we've spent we have spent a long while on a song that hasn't even come
Enough
out.
about me.
On your podcast, yeah. Let's talk about Taylor flashing it. No, we won't do that. No, we won't do that.
Thanks, guys. Love this new series. I'll see you all next week.
Oh, I'm so glad we told you that before we come on here.
Time for a sharp exit.
Luckily enough, I wasn't the victim, but...
Well, I'm glad I wasn't.
Yeah. Right, so we've also got 2 songs that you wrote. Let's move on.
Moving swiftly on.
Yes.
You've got 710 and Annie.
Yes.
Let's talk about them. 2, for me, very different songs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When I've listened to what's been done of them and stuff like that, 2 very, very different songs. I had the pleasure of working with you with Annie on stage with a cajon.
Yes.
Which was fabulous.
That was such a good
fun night.
That's always a good. I think that's my favourite one to do live. I mean, I don't play any of the others live, but it's just so like high energy and like everyone like knows it kind of thing. It's quite catchy. I think it's quite catchy.
Yeah, my hands were like.
Yeah.
But is there a plan to do a band thing at all?
Yes.
Is there?
That is
live?
my intentions. Yeah, absolutely. Because I've played with a band before I was signed.
Yeah.
And I think to do the songs justice for me, it's got to be more than me.
Definitely. Well, not I'm going to say definitely, but not in any way your solo performances lack anything. They don't. They really don't. You're a fabulous performer.
Thank you.
But there is that thing, isn't there? The song itself on the recording is a different animal really than what you perform solo. So I think it would be really interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Is it also a thing of, what you're saying with the band as well, though, is that also a thing of like you can just let go a little bit more as well and not just rely on yourself, but you can rely on other people and just have a little bit more sense of freedom on stage? Yes
and no, because it's a weird one really, because like I'm very good at like being in a band situation, be like, right, you do that, like you like dictating the parts to people, but then it's also like it's, if something goes wrong, it's not necessarily just me who's to blame. And like that is like, I've said that to you, like when I performed with you, I went have you got it? Like, are you sure you've got it? because if you're gonna mess it up, I'm not gonna be happy. Like, I am a bit of a drill sergeant when it comes to
it's your art.
A little bit bossy. Exactly.
If it wasn't, to be fair, you say you're bossy, but when we were in, like, when we came up to the run up to the Pride gig and stuff like that, you came in with a set and I changed it.
Yeah, but that's also because, like, I will change it to in a collaborative setting in order for, like, if someone else is more comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, if it's just me on my own, then it's just down to me. Like, I've got to put the work in. But if someone else is struggling, then it's not fair to me to be like, no, you've got to do it. Like, that's not.
I mean, to be fair, they did change a song maybe like the day before or like 2 days before.
Yeah, that was. So you had me learning a rap.
Yeah.
Less than 24 hours before the gig, and I'm clearly not a rapper. But nevertheless,
it worked well though.
It did. I cut it short purposefully.
Yeah, I gathered.
I was also very drunk then.
I wish I'd seen that.
Yeah, it was a good song. Plan B.
It really went well.
Was a Plan B cover?
Plan B. Yeah, she said.
Do you want to give us the rap now, Kiera?
I've seen him live. He's just.
Come on,
I'll pass. If you can get me a can of Red Stripe within the next 5 minutes, I'll consider it.
I reckon we give Phil a taste of the rap.
I really think impromptu performances on camera are probably not a great idea.
I agree, Phil. Thank you.
You're my co-host, which means we're in this together, Phil.
I'm not doing that to her.
I think Phil's my
co-host. So let's broaden it out a touch.
Okay.
And talk about, you've been signed since March. It's now it's August, nearly September.
What's the date today?
It's about the 28th. 27th, yeah.
Well, your watch is wrong because it's the 29th.
29th of August.
It'll be,
it's got the day right.
It's 5 months tomorrow. It'll be.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's flown by for me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because I thought you said March to me before, and I was like, no, it was May. It hasn't been that long, March. But yeah, no, it really has. Gone fast.
What about your impressions in terms of maybe when you signed, what you thought it might be like in terms of compared to how it's actually been being a signed artist?
I mean, Roy did a very good job of, like, when we sat down and we went through the contract and all things like that, he did a very good job of preparing me for what was to be expected of me. And he was like, I'm trying to scare you on purpose, because if you don't think you can do it,
you need to
then
know.
Exactly.
That's right.
And like it is a lot of work. Like, people have asked me that before, like at gigs and things like that, like, how are you finding it? And it is a lot of work, but I knew it was going to be a lot of work.
Yes.
I was willing to put that work in.
Yeah.
Because it's not even like the actual music aspect that is the biggest part of it. Well, not for me anyway.
Which, of course, going into a contract like that, you'd probably expect it to be all about the music being the bigger part.
Probably from an outsider's perspective, like that's probably why people ask me, because it's other musicians who ask me, like, at gigs and things like that. They're genuinely interested in what it's like.
Of course, yeah.
But it's all about, like, building a following and, like, showing who you are outside of music as well.
Definitely.
Like, that's something that Roy always says, like, you need to make sure your personality comes across.
Absolutely.
What would you say is the hardest thing about the background work and being the artist behind and not just on stage?
Social media.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it's got to be consistent. Like, if you fall off it for a couple of days, then, like,
you've sort of built up a
drive, like, you've kind of just got it's all about the momentum. Like, you've got to be on it every day. Like, it's got to be something different. Like, it can't be like a selfie every day. Like, because people get bored.
Yeah.
And you get bored making it as well.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to make it as fun as you can for everyone involved, as much as it is a job, essentially.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you completely buy into that it's crucial.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I know, like, there's a lot of people who do struggle with it, like, especially the way social media is these days. Like, it is such a dangerous place.
Yeah.
But you've kind of just got to
flesh that out for us, Kiera, just what you mean by that.
Like you say, like, about, like, buying into it and things like that. People who don't know you will only believe what you put out. and it's at the same time you've got to be really careful and not to see other people and compare yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be like, no, I'm in my own lane, like I'm doing this and doing that. Like, there's, I know, like, especially like followers and things like that, and likes and interactions with people, like, it's, I know that, like, I know where I am in comparison to other people, but I can't focus on other people because that's not my lane.
I agree, totally, absolutely. You've got to do your own thing, and do it your way. And that interaction with the artist, though, obviously social media's been around for a long time now, but going back before that, it was you had no contact whatsoever. You go to a gig, there's still be no contact, but now it's a different scenario.
Does it make it harder as well because there's so many different platforms?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I wouldn't know to the extent that you would be working on it, but as radio show hosts or podcast hosts or just being at the label, you've still got to try and keep it up yourself because you're representing the label. Yeah. But so I don't know to the extent of it as you, but wouldn't you say you'd have to design your post to the app in a way?
Yes and no, because I found, why am I saying sorry to the microphone?
Can we pause there and hold that question, because this is just
we've got a bit of a droop going on.
Absolutely. I don't know if it's going to have been recording, to be honest with you, but I've been hoping against so it will have been. I'd blame the engineer.
Me too.
Good help is so hard to
find. As he stood
honestly
behind the camera drinking a carton of juice.
Giving me evils. Right, we paused there.
Yes.
Can we pick that back up again?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I found in recent years a lot of social media's coming, it's like short, what's the word? Like short format, so like TikTok and like Instagram Reels. Yeah. Like they are essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
And as much as like you've got to try and make sure that it's not all like just the same thing. Like people are opening apps and seeing the same video on TikTok they've seen on Instagram. It's also like the fact that like some days you just physically can't do it. Yeah. Some days you've just gotta bite the bullet and just have your content not be that good for that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when you compromise with a selfie maybe to do something, I guess, and then roll again tomorrow. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
For your followers as well, though, within that, I know I'm sort of like prolonging this conversation.
That's
we
okay.
need to sort of move on, but for your followers as well, though, for the people who don't know you, who are just there for you and your music, would you not sort of say that when you are having that not bad day, but you're not as great as you usually are on that day, you're not just showing your followers that you're still just human and it's still okay not to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I put a cover up the other day, and like I said, like in the caption, I was like, oh, like my hangover's getting me and my feelings, and I sang a really sad song, and like I'm not gonna go on and be like crying, like when because I just don't think that that's necessary, as it for any human being. Yeah. Like it's quite a vulnerable thing, and an intimate thing, and I think as musicians, as a rule, especially those who create their own music, that is the highest level of vulnerability. Like I'm literally putting my brain
out
onto a piece of paper and letting people judge it. Like obviously not just me, like so many other people are doing that, but I think it is a really vulnerable thing to do.
Definitely exposing yourself to all that stuff on social media you've kind of referred to really in passing almost.
Yeah.
I hate, and I know it's all cliches, but haters gonna hate, and
precisely.
Absolutely. You're above that.
We need to start getting moving. So.
Okay.
We're gonna do some quick fire questions.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say we were gonna play a game. Then I got really concerned.
You've got to answer them.
Do you want to play a game?
We're gonna build the momentum that up.
Okay, go on, hit me with it.
You've got to answer them as quickly as you can.
Well, so you know that I've got no filter.
Just instinctively, as quickly as you can.
No filter required.
Don't get me in trouble, Taylor, please. Roy already thinks I'm up to something.
Best thing about being a musician?
Being a musician.
That's probably the best answer.
Yeah, fair enough. Best thing about performing live?
The high you get after you finished.
Best venue you've played at?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It's not exactly quick fire, either.
No, I'd say the Ship, because I like the as much as it's very sweaty and you get no phone signal. it's a good place, and the engineers sound as well.
Yeah, good guy.
Venue you want to play at in the world?
In the world. No. I mean, I'd love to do the M&S Arena, because like that's like the biggest hometown show you could possibly do, isn't it?
But that'd be the last gig of the tour, though. Last night of the tour.
Last night of the tour, yeah. Just cry on stage, sing You'll Never Walk Alone, and get everyone involved.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would.
Best thing about Big Condo Records?
Me.
Hey, I love it.
Fair enough.
Come on.
Fair enough.
I love it.
And finally, if you could give one piece of advice to an up-and-coming artist, what would it be?
Make sure that you're happy, because if you're happy doing what you're doing, then no one can tell you that you're not successful.
Yeah, great definition
Yeah.
of success. Perfect definition of success.
Yeah, that's probably the best answer we've had.
And I'm just going to disclaim that it's not my quote, that's a Harry Styles quote, but I
right,
heard it, and I was like, that just took a weight off my shoulder when I heard it, to be like, yeah.
I was giving you credit then as well.
Success is measured differently. It's subjective. So
yeah,
Brilliant.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
As always.
How's it for you?
I mean, I'm okay. I don't feel like I'm in any trouble. So
we'll see.
I was madly concerned.
Well, it has been a pleasure once again. Phil,
as
it's been
always.
a pleasure to be alongside you.
As always, mate. Absolutely.
And we will see you guys next week for another edition of Through the Speakers.
Cheers for now.
See you later.
Bye.